Hello, welcome back to my channel. Have you ever sat down to write a novel and you've been super excited about this thing forever? I mean, this thing has just consumed your thoughts. You think you have so many ideas for it. You've got a really cool character, a great world, and then you sit down to write and you can't make it past chapter 2. When you hit chapter 2, you just hit a wall. Okay. Here's why you can't make it past chapter 2. And there are other reasons why you can't make it past chapter 2. This is probably the biggest reason, and we'll discuss the other reason why you can't make it past chapter 2 in the next video. The first reason you can't make it past chapter 2 that we're going to be discussing as the topic of today's video is that you didn't explore your ideas. And that's caused by what we call a lack of brainstorming. So I think that a lot of times writing teachers, or English teachers rather, in school, they'll either only teach nonfiction writing or they'll teach fiction writing, but they'll apply a very stringent sort of writing process. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then here's a little pic of the writing process right here. The writing process is very helpful, I would say, but too often it's applied too stringently. So what's happening now is that writing teachers are opting that people not even follow the writing process as it's listed in this sweet little list here. And what that causes is that we forget to do something that's really crucial to being able to put time and commitment into a spark or a single idea. Good stories, almost never anyway, arise from a single idea. They're a bunch of ideas mixed together that form a cohesive narrative. When I was starting out writing novel-length projects at 13, I had this really cool idea based off of the Divergent series, and I know that a bunch of people just cringe there. I think that 13-year-olds, their writing is inspired by Divergent in some way. It was called Aspen of Madasona, and it was basically a secret society of people called, oh my gosh, this is so cringy. I'm laughing really hard trying to explain this because I was 13 at the time. So, it was a secret society of people called the Hoodie Ninjas that were rebelling against basically a classist order. I think I got to around chapter 3 before my mind just crashed because I didn't really think of the project outside of, Divergent, which is what the whole thing was based on. Oh, and my golden just showed up for this video. Say hi to the camera, Buster. Hi, Buster. Okay. Close the door. I'm gonna have to fix this in editing. I didn't really think beyond this classist society and what it was based on, which was Divergent. It only had like 2 ideas going behind it, and the rest was just a Divergent knockoff, basically. And thus, the project crashed and burned. I don't even think it has more than 5 chapters. It would have been fixed if I had, spent more time exploring the ideas in my own unique way. So that's what I'm going to try and help you with today. I don't really want to make it seem like this is a chore. It's the most fun part of writing because there are no rules in writing. We like to pretend there's no rules, but there's rules. But when you're brainstorming, there really aren't any limits. You can just let the words flow and let your mind take you wherever it wants to go. So I'm going to offer you some tips on how you can brainstorm effectively, and I hope that these will be beneficial to you. The first thing that I recommend for all writers, regardless of how many books you've written, how good you think you are, how committed you think you are, keep a journal. Too often I find we've neglected journal keeping because we think like journal equals daily recording of my life, which it can, and I'm not saying that that's bad. It can certainly be inspiration for books. I think that people are like, well, if I can't keep a daily recording of my life, then I'm just not going to bother keeping a journal. And I think that that's a bad way to look at it. Journals are just like kind of a net to catch all your ideas as they come. Right here are going to be starter tips on things you can write in your journal. These are all just suggestions, and there will be things I haven't listed. They're just examples, and they're also things that I tend to write the most. Aside from keeping a journal, there are many ways that you can generate ideas for your own original novel. Many writers recommend and or have started out writing by doing fan fiction. I'm one of those writers, actually. I mean, I'm currently writing a fan fiction trilogy. And fanfiction is actually a great way to generate ideas for your own original novel. Many of the ideas that I'm exploring in the Allure trilogy are also going to be used in my original novel series that I can't give any information on right now. Another thing that you can do is to pay close attention to the media you're consuming. So media is basically anything that's produced for people to watch and read, I guess. Books, movies, TV, songs, news programs, documentaries, nonfiction TV, that sort of thing. Those can all be generation for ideas for a novel. You might hear on the news about the pandemic, the pandemic going on right now, and you might be inspired to write a post-apocalyptic story or something like that. Or you might watch a show that had a really sucky ending for one of its villains and think, hey, I want to write a villain that's like this one villain, but it's better. Another thing that you can do is to travel. If you're young, then this is kind of out of your control, but when you're traveling, I would say you should totally look around and learn stuff about the places you're going. And even doing research on other cultures and other countries and stuff like that, it's really cool, and it can really help you to generate ideas for your novel and things like that. Story prompts are also a great way to get ideas. Story prompts are like pre-made story ideas though, so there are many websites out there that you can generate story prompts off of, and they're super cool and super helpful in my opinion. Another thing that I'll do is sometimes I'll have several small ideas that I write down on sticky notes or something like that. I'll put them into a bowl and I'll just grab 3 of those as they come out, and those can be inspiration for a whole novel. I can grab 3 to 5 or something like that. So you'll need multiple sparks to start a flame of commitment to your story, as cheesy and weird as that sounds. There are a couple of ways that you can explore your ideas, and you have to explore your ideas beyond just a single spark, or else you're going to not be able to write past chapter 2. I would recommend the most idea webs. So this is an idea web. You probably heard of it in elementary school because you had to write one for a nonfiction essay or something like that. Idea webs are very helpful. So basically the idea is you can put a spark, even one spark in the middle, and then you can write down everything related to that spark. So here's an example of an idea web I made for LeMay, which is a Just Write It winner on Wattpad, just so you guys know. It really helped me be able to connect my ideas together and form a cohesive dystopian allegory about Christianity. Another way, if you don't like idea webs, and I totally get if you don't, type A's are a thing, is you can make a what-if chart. What-if chart, you basically write your spark at the top, and then you just keep going down the list of what-ifs. The prompt for LeMay was write a story about a blind person who's discovering sight for the first time. So I could write that at the top, and then I could write under that, well, what if this was a science fiction story? What if it was a dystopia in which everybody is blind? What if the government hides things from its citizens via their blindness? What if there's a rebel group? What if this is an allegory for Christianity and stuff like that? And it's more organized and less organized in a way, but it involves lists rather than word webs, which some people have a really big bias against word webs, or they just don't like how they look. I get that. The basic idea is that you have to develop your ideas before you begin plotting, characterizing, any of that, because ideas are the driving motivation for getting your story done. If you don't have enough ideas, your story's going to tank after chapter 2, and you aren't going to get anywhere. That's all I had to say on this topic. I just thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to leave your thoughts down in the comments section. And if you want a community of writers, if you want to be able to share your work, get tips, get mentored, find a writing buddy, that sort of thing, please check out our Shadow Spies Discord server. It is in the description box. Everybody is welcome as long as you are nice. We really want you so that we can connect and have a community of awesome writers who are willing to help each other. And that's all I had to say for this video. Thank you for watching, and God bless you all.